So this is a real simple technique. It's just with 2 pieces of hair, and I'm going to do what's called a rope, in which you just kind of twist the hair into 2. At the ends, I use a product called Beyond Body, which gives it a little bit of hold, so it doesn't give me the slip that the Beyond Shine does. And all of this information, we do a video and a product guide. It shares everything for the hairdresser, and we do the book so that they can share it with a customer, with a consumer. And then once we get to the ends, what we do is that we take the ends and we find just a little tiny piece of hair from the bottom and just kind of slide this up like this, so that we get this really kind of like a cool little set. And I leave it really messy like this, and just kind of pin it into place. And this whole hairstyle is just going to be really kind of doing a few of these rosettes all the way around the face. And again, real easy to do. Maggie Mulhern, how are you?
Sorry, everybody.
So again, I'll take another piece right next to it, just split it in half, and add just a touch of this Beyond Body product. And a rope is a real simple technique to do. It's just, now when hairdressers do it, they twist it to make it really tight. But for this technique, we recommend that they just cross. Anybody can do this. Just take 2 pieces and cross them over. That's all you have to do. You can do this with your eyes closed. And when you get to the bottom, the most important thing is to find the skinniest, tiniest little piece and just start to slide it up and push it until you create this nice little set. And then just kind of pin it in place. Maggie is a dear friend that works for Modern Salon, one of our top trade publications. And Maggie, I was telling everyone that one of the things that I always do when I'm in front of hairdressers is that I show them consumer magazines and say, the consumer press is doing much looser kind of work than what we in the hair. In the hair industry, when you become an insider, you get your own aesthetic vernacular, and it becomes so bizarre that sometimes we forget that real customers are scared, are scared as hell when a hairdresser comes in and tries to coif them and do something really crazy. So one of the things that I've taught myself and I try to teach hairdressers to do is to think loose and a little bit. You want enough craft to be in the hairstyles that you do so that it looks like a professional did it, but at the same time, you want to consider that it has to be wearable, and it's just not. It can't be a work of art. Some things can be looked at as a work of art just for a photographic purpose only, but if somebody's getting married or anything else, you want it to have that kind of looseness that just makes it real easy. I love this technique because it's just an easy, fast way to do a coif. All of the techniques in here can be done in, like I said, 15 minutes or less. Super easy. I can teach anybody to do it. And one of the things that I like is that it's gotten hairdressers in the game both like, yeah, I think I can do that. And they've gotten really excited to get in the game. We do approximately 50 shows a year. I know, Maggie, you were in Vegas. I was just talking to everybody about Vegas. And we do 12 academies, 12 major academies throughout, where we see hundreds and thousands of hairdressers. And our goal is to teach them little tricks that they can pass on to the consumer in a really easy way. I know that in the consumer world, everyone is looking for things that people can do at home. And I'm an advocate of, don't try this at home. Just go to a hairdresser and find the right hairdresser. Because if you've got a great relationship with a good hairdresser, it makes your life just so much easier. I know that lately it's been a do-it-yourself for just about everything, but my advocacy is find a good hairdresser and make them your friend. This is a great community. I happen to feel like I'm a bit of a guest in it. 90% or 95% of our industry is composed of ladies, and they're all entrepreneur women that have great businesses throughout the United States, small businesses, but they, the role that they do in their communities are great. They're not just making people look beautiful on the outside, but they have such a great social connection within their communities that they're loved by everybody. And I feel like I was blessed to kind of wander into this industry. And I'm in that 5% of guys, but most of the people that I deal with, and my team as well as everywhere else, ladies talking to other ladies, helping them look more beautiful. I think that's just a really great thing. So I'm sorry you can see the other side, but you'll see a little technique here. You just do a rope like this, and then the trick is just finding the thinnest, tiniest little piece at the bottom so that you can easily slide this up and then turn it into a nice little set. And then the last thing that I do is just hide the ends underneath. And it gives it this really, really cool little set. I take the very bottom pieces, and I have learned to accept floss, which is probably one of the most difficult things for a hairdresser to do. Most hairdressers will take all these little pieces and try to change them and pick them apart and clean them up, and when you do that, then all of a sudden it loses such a loose editorial look that all of us love when we see a do that's not too perfectly made. So this is beautiful model Amanda, and she's got just really gorgeous hair, but a real effortless, easy way of putting her hair up. We marry tool and technique. That's really what we do, and the reason why we ask you all to come and to show you this new collection that we did. We do 2 collections a year. One is all about short hair and texture, and then that we feature haircuts and different ways of styling short hair. And then we do one collection that's all about updos. And every year we try to make it simpler, faster, easier to do, and we've gotten so many great hairdressers engaged in this. And one of the cool things today, especially to be in the publishing world, is that when it comes to salons, it used to be at a time where great salons were only in New York or Los Angeles or major metropolitan markets, but now there are amazing salons all over the country.